Welcome to Va-Dor's Touch of Torah. I'm sorry, but I have laryngitis this week. Our parasha is Genesis, Vayeitzei, and take it away, Rabbi Barry.
Thank you, Sharon. Even though your voice is not strong, thanks for giving us a voice and allowing us the opportunity to share a little bit about the Torah reading this Shabbat. It is from, as you say, Vayeitzei, means that he went out, describes him leaving one place and heading towards another. In this case, he's going to a place that he calls Beth El, the house of God. Originally, it was called Luz, which is very interesting because luz is Spanish for light. And maybe there's a connection there in that the place was a source of light, and then he called it a house of God. One of the most significant things in the passage, at least to me, I don't know if it is significant to anyone else, is it says that Jacob has a dream and then he wakes up and he realizes this is a very sacred place. So he says, God dwells in this place, and I had no idea. I didn't even know that. And I think it's one of the most important lines is because every inch of this earth is sacred, holy ground. Everything around us is a marvel. And we can say that about our lives and every day. We're walking on sacred ground. Everything is wondrous, and we don't even realize it. And the goal of religion is to try to wake up from our slumber and recognize how wondrous life is and all the opportunities that lie before us. The other thing that happens of significance in the passage is a very famous story referred to as Jacob's ladder. So Jacob has a dream, and he dreams that there's a ladder, and it says with its base on the earth, and the top of it extends into the heavens and up even towards God himself. And there's angels going up and down this ladder. And then he has in his dream, he has a conflict. It's not quite sure, but it looks like it's a conflict with God. And he's in a wrestling match, and he prevails. And he says at the end, I wrestled with God and I prevailed. That's another very significant line. This is an archetype for the Jewish people. We believe that each one of us wrestles with the concept of God. If you just accept blindly what somebody's telling you, then you really don't get it. And you really are not a believer. You're just indoctrinated or brainwashed. But when you actually grapple with the idea, when you struggle to make sense out of this vast universe and out of this creative power that's in everything and unites everything, and you try to understand it and live in harmony with it, when you engage in that struggle, we believe as Jews that we can prevail, that we have the know-how, we have the heart and the mind in order to engage in this struggle with our conscience and to understand and to prevail. What does that mean to prevail? Does it mean that we now know everything? No. It just means that we're now on our way towards rational thinking, being good people, kindliness. We can prevail in that way. Our standards are not perfection. Our standards are that we should be a mensch, a good person, and strive to use our rational mind to achieve wisdom. We believe that everybody has the capacity in that struggle to prevail. So Yisrael, Jacob's name was changed to Yisrael, which means one who struggles with God. So that's what it means to be Jewish. Many people doubt their faith, and they think that that means they're not Jewish. Doubting your faith is the most Jewish thing you can do. Doubting, questioning, seeking answers, not just believing things at face value, spending your lifetime accumulating more knowledge and more wisdom, more kindness, more love. we do that. That's what it means to be Jewish, and that's what it means to prevail. The ladder also is interesting in that, according to the Torah, it has its base on the ground, and the top of it extends into the heavens. That's a very, very important concept. The Jewish people, we've always had our feet on the ground. We've always been practical. We care about this world. We have lofty hopes and dreams about a better world, but we're always firmly planted in this one. Our feet are on the ground and our mind soars towards the heavens. What a beautiful analogy, a beautiful dream that Jacob had that symbolizes what the Jews have been striving for ever since. And so there's a lot of metaphors here that serve us well. Did the story happen? In my opinion, probably not. But it's possible that one of our ancestors did spend the night at Beth El, used a rock for a pillow, and then had this wonderful dream. But it doesn't really matter. Our belief is not based on whether it literally happened or not. Our religion, our faith, is based on the ideals and the lessons and the metaphors that are used in this story and that have guided the Jewish people. That is very, very real and can help guide our life. We're a people of dreamers. We Jews are dreamers, and they say you should build your castles in the sky. Now lay the foundations. That's what this passage is all about. Anybody have anything they'd like to add, to share, or to inquire? Stanley, you are muted.
Back in this book of Genesis, this passage, these people weren't yet Jewish. Is that correct?
Well, it really depends upon your definition of Jewish and who you consider to be the first Jew. Many people consider Abraham to be the first Jew because God established a covenant with him through circumcision. God ordered him to circumcise his children. God said to him, through you, all the families of the earth will be blessed, and I will multiply your descendants for your sake. So I would say the majority of Jewish people consider Abraham to be the first Jew, then Isaac, next generation, and then Jacob. There are some who avoid that because of the troubling passage about Abraham serving meat and dairy in the same meal, because the rules of kashrut didn't develop until many, many, many centuries after Moses. But the Orthodox don't want to acknowledge this obvious fact. So to try to get around it, they say, well, the reason why he served meat and milk is because he wasn't Jewish, which is rather, think about it, it's rather ridiculous. Anybody else want to share some thoughts? God said to Jacob, no longer will you be called Jacob. From now on, you shall be called Yisrael. And then about 5 verses later, God is calling Jacob by the name Jacob. After he just said, nobody's going to call you that anymore, I guess he forgot. But you can't really blame him because God's pretty old. I mean, God's been around for since infinity. So he has a few memory lapses. I guess he can be excused. Anyone else want to share some thoughts?
I think you should sing Im Tirtzu in honor of this passage.
That's probably a good idea. Im Tirtzu is a very good passage. You know, I read last week about Isaac, and Isaac was the passage I read for my bar mitzvah. As I mentioned at the service, a lot of people think nothing happened there. There's no conflict, there's no fighting, there's no victories. But what happened was Isaac made an enemy into a friend. He avoided conflict, and he, by his example and by his character, the people who were opposed to him, who were adversaries, came up to him and said, "We want a treaty with you. You are truly blessed of God." That's a beautiful passage. And I like to say, I'll probably share this Friday night because I forgot last Friday night, that the reason why Isaac was able to do that, he was a nomad. And so he had no mad bone in his body. He was just a easygoing, delightful personality. And even though he had reason to be angry, he avoided it. So Im Tirtzu is around. It was quoted by Herzl, "If you will it, it's no dream. Im Tirtzu and Zo Agadah." Agadah is related to the word Haggadah. Haggadah means the story. Agadah is Aramaic and it means a story. So Im Tirtzu, and means ain't, Zo means this, Agadah. It's not just a story, or it's not just a make-believe. It's real. But it's around because it says Im Tirtzu and Zo Agadah, and then it says Lihiyot Am Choshi Be'artzenu Be'eretz Yisrael and Be'eretz Yerushalayim. So it says, if you will, it is no dream to be a free people in the land of Israel and in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem in Hebrew is Yerushalayim. And Im starts out Tirtzu again. So it's around Yerushalayim Tirtzu. I'll give you a little bit of this song because I know that Sharon definitely wants to fill up the time because it's rare that she would ask me to sing a song. So I will definitely oblige, especially because we don't have Andy here or Carol. So I will be happy to sing this song. I love Im Tirtzu. Im Tirtzu, Im Tirtzu, Enzo Agada, Enzo Agada, Liyotam Chofshi Be'arsenu, Be'eretz Sion, V'Yerushalayim Tirtzu, Im Tirtzu, Enzo Agada, Enzo Agada, Liyotam Choshi Be'arsenu, Be'eretz Sion, V'Yerushalayim. And that, of course, was the rallying cry of Theodor Herzl and the state of Israel, who had a dream, like Jacob's dream, a dream of a Jewish state, a modern Jewish state of Israel. And he said, if you will it, not just dream it, but if you dream it and if you will it and work hard, it is no dream. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to be with you for this Torah study. This Friday night, we have Shabbat services. And the Friday afterwards, stay tuned, all right? Because we may have a very special surprise for you a week from Friday. But it's tentative, so stay tuned, be on our email list, and you'll find out what's going on. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Rabbi,
yes.
Tell about Thursday night.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, my goodness, yes. Thursday night, we have a really cool evening planned. Thursday night at the Movies of Del Rey on Atlantic Avenue and Hagen Ranch. They're going to show the life of Menachem Begin.
Begin.
Yeah, it's called, I forget what it's called now. Forget what it's called, but it's at 7:15, the Movies of Del Rey. His life is fascinating, from emerging out of the Holocaust to helping to establish the state of Israel, to becoming a very controversial figure in Israeli politics, the darling of the religious right, and someone who, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you have to admit, Menachem Begin was a powerful force and one of the leaders and one of the heroes of the state of Israel. And there's going to be, after the movie, a discussion led by a historian who produced the movie, who can answer your questions about the actual history of this time period. So it should be a great evening. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for reminding me,
It's
Sharon.
called Upheaval.
Thank you.
Upheaval.
Yep, Upheaval. Thursday night, this Thursday, 7:15, Movies of Del Rey, Atlantic and Hagen Ranch. Thanks, everybody. Laila Tov.